en aan 'n ander develop 2 hier in Boksburg langs aan die eerste building en aan oorkant. So nou moet mense 'n bietjie finance losmaak. So Christiaan, we are officially live. Let's see on the phone. Can we see it? Okay. So welcome. Christiaan Jansen from 360 Finance. How are you doing?
Great, thanks to you, Leroy.
Good, man. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
I think let me get into the introduction quickly, because what I've noticed is a lot of people watch it afterwards, but they watch the first few minutes to see what it's about, and then make a decision whether they're going to continue watching it or not watching it. So I think let's do that. So welcome. We've got Christiaan Jansen from 360 Finance here today. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a finance expert. And today we'll be talking about how to finance your investment. Okay? Because this is most people's challenges, Christiaan. Most people say, I don't have the money. I can't invest. I can't buy a property. Or let's say challenges and some people's excuses. So today I want us to talk about how you finance your investment, the traditional banks to maybe governments, to maybe chat about bridging finance or private finance a little bit, just to give people ideas and ways they can go out there and finance their investments. So I think we got a few people logging in. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire. Every Wednesday, 10 a.m., live on Facebook. And soon we'll be going live to YouTube. I've figured that out, finally. Took me a while, but I figured that out. So welcome, Christiaan. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic, Leroy. I'm happy to share some insights. I hope I can add value, and I hope I don't bore your viewers.
No, most definitely. No, never do. When we talk about money, yeah, man, people are interested, because that's what most people say their challenges are. Listen, I don't have the money. I don't know where to find the money.
But the mechanics can become boring. But luckily, that's where I come in.
Yeah, that's where you come in. I think we're gonna have a nice chat, and I think it's gonna help a lot of people. So I think while we wait for a few people to log on, maybe tell us you were riding a bicycle across South Africa, man. Eh? That just sounds painful, and it's far.
Oh, no, it was amazing. We clocked 1,760 kilometers cycling from Pretoria to Cape Town in 15 days. That was back in April.
So, dude, that's amazing. Eh? How does that feel even? How's it on the legs?
Well, the legs do get quite fatigued, and that's the funniest thing, especially hitting the Karoo. You've got these almost flat little inclines, not a lot of climbing, but you can just feel the handbrake being pulled. So fatigue on the legs is a real problem here and there, but at a point your body makes peace with what it's going through, and that's actually where the magic happens. I mean, for me personally, it's the second time I've done this. I just love the opportunity to clear my head, because your body goes into self-defense mode to such a point that you don't have control over your thoughts. It literally just takes you wherever it wants to take you, your mind, that is. So you get an opportunity to unpack and think about things that you don't necessarily would think about. Like I was thinking about my comparison of my father and my stepfather's parenting techniques. Weird things, no hang-ups, but you go through it.
15 days, right? So obviously you have to cover
exactly that. And that to me was wonderful, because I ended up journaling a good 52 pages, and everything is just a bit of an unpacking, and every thought sort of gets dismissed with okay, makes sense now, and you carry on. So now I love it.
So that's cool. So you're saying in between that you're journaling, how you feeling, what thoughts are coming to mind. Okay. How's the exercise? Can someone like me just jump into that, or does it take?
You need some conditioning. I would strongly suggest that you have at least a good 6 months of cycling under the belt to just make sure that your body has the requisite conditioning. You need to know that you're going to be comfortable on the bike for probably about 20% of the time. Because the fact of the matter is, little niggles can come in. I mean, one of the guys that rode with us, probably one of the best examples of that, he started developing knee pain. When we got to Kimberley, the bike shop owner gave him one look. He asked him to do a couple of lunge steps forward on the grouts of the tiles.
Yeah.
And he told him that his one knee is, I can't remember the medical term. I think it's plantating or implantating or something, but basically it was just bending a little bit inwards. The solution that sorted everything out was a little watch battery under the, so just behind the big toe, just that little, 2 millimeters. Lifting of his foot sorted out his knee. So bike setup is imperative. You need to have all of that properly prepared and be comfortable on the bicycle. Otherwise, you can get quite badly hurt.
No. I don't think I'm going to join you soon.
No, it's an amazing experience. And we're doing a trip again next year. Second week of May, we're going to go from Plet to Cape Town. So that's a shorter one. It's 8 days for 850 kilometers. But it will be with support vehicles. So you're welcome to join and maybe cycle every second day or something like that. I think it will be quite a jaunt.
Let me think about it. Let me pray about it. That's a praying matter there.
Definitely, but in the same breath, the invite is formally out in public space now.
Yeah, I don't know hold you back because it might take you something that might take 15 days or probably take 30 days with me.
We'll sort you out.
No, but thanks for joining us and well done there. I think we got a few people logging on. Let's see. So welcome, guys. Today we're talking about financing your investment. So if you are looking to invest, you are looking to maybe buy a family home, you want to finance it with the banks, or you're not sure how to finance whatever the investment is. Maybe it's a family home, a commercial property, or a buy-to-let, multi-let, whatever it is. We're just going to chat about financing your investment. If you have any questions for Christiaan, pop it in the comment section. Christiaan, you can see it on your side as well when there is questions, and then we can take it from there. So let's see. So Christiaan, I think maybe let's get straight. So maybe tell us what you do at 360 Finance.
Yeah, so at 360 Finance is a financing intermediary company. So in simple terms, we're originators, but we don't just originate residential property finance. We also deal with commercial property finance, commercial financing, asset financing. So a little bit of everything, provided that it is in a business capacity. All of that except for your residential bonds. So bread and butter in my business is when a prospective investor goes out to purchase a property, I go to the banks on their behalf and find them the best deal. So I'm the money guy. And hopefully I can phone you with good news and say that one of the banks is willing to knock on your door with a proverbial wheelbarrow of cash.
Okay, awesome. So you go on behalf of the clients to the banks. And which banks do you normally? Because most bond division we know deal with the 4 big banks and now the SA Home Loans. Capitec is also involved now, eh?
Yeah, so Capitec has an agreement with SA Home Loans. There's an integration between their systems. So it's unfortunately not open for originators to deal with. So our primary sources of financing, specifically in the residential property market, is the main 4 banks, ABSA, FNB, Standard Bank, and Nedbank. And it's important to go to all of them on account of the fact that you get the opportunity to negotiate your best rate. And I always laugh at the examples that I get. And I literally had one yesterday where an ABSA client got a better offer from Standard Bank. And we referred the offer. Well, initially the Standard Bank rate was worse. So we sent the ABSA rate to Standard Bank and they beat it by 0.25%. We sent that Standard Bank approval back to ABSA, and they then went and beat that by another 0.5%. So quite a nice drop. Yeah, but had I not had another bank to hold that client's own bank accountable, then you would have no idea of whether you got the best deal. So that's why it's imperative to shop around.
And because Because most people say, listen, I bank with Nedbank, but I'm actually looking to leave Nedbank. Yeah, man, I'm just getting better. Like I've got one account with FNB and one account with ABSA, and they're just willing to work with me more than what Nedbank is currently. But most people say, listen, I want a bond. I'm with Nedbank. I'm going to go and get a bond with Nedbank because they'll probably give me the best rate. Why is it better to go through a bond originator, someone like yourself, or than to go to the bank yourself?
So there's two potential outcomes. One, you could from the get-go get the best rate from your own bank, or two, they know you too well, and due to their internal scorecard, they won't give you the best rate. So it's ideal to shop around. It just makes it a lot easier for you to get a proper picture of what exactly is being offered in the market. And that obviously then is subject to your own credit score, your own risk profile. But you'll never know if you don't know, or if you don't ask rather. So it's I suggest that clients always look at all the banks. Just makes it easier. I mean, yes, you've got a little bit of an impact on your credit score on account of hits against your profile with them doing inquiries, but not to the extent that it actually tarnishes your profile. So it's all about getting the best deal. I mean, if you save 0.5% on a 1.5 million rand bond, you're looking at 120,000 rands interest saved over the duration of that bond.
It's huge, eh? And you don't look at it like that. It sounds small when you say 0.25, but it's huge when you really do the numbers on it.
They've definitely, yeah.
And most people say, I've had a lot of people, even students that we work with, are saying, listen, I've got an Edgar's account that I'm busy paying off. I've got someone got blacklisted for what do you call this this holiday thing?
Oh yeah, there's a couple of vacation club type things.
Holiday club things where you commit. What do you call it? Timeshare.
Yeah.
For some timeshare opportunities, I'm like, dude, I don't even know they could do that if you don't.
It's a credit agreement technically on the subscription, so they can be quite ruthless. Most important thing, regardless of what your obligations are, pay them. That's
pay
it.
Them. But now pay them on time. But now let's say you haven't been paying. You've not been working for 2020 or 2021. Companies closed. Do you? Because some people say, let me first pay it off, and I say, listen, why not just go and see and find out if you can get it? What are your suggestions with people that some might be blacklisted, some might not be blacklisted. They just might have short paid or late paid a couple of accounts. What's your views on that?
So my first suggestion is get yourself registered on www.clearscore.com. Because with that, you'll get a monthly credit report where you can monitor what's going on your profile. Because from a bank point of view, there is the main metrics when they look at considering a transaction before they even look at the property is, do you have a good enough credit score on the Experian profile that's 621 and above? They're the largest credit bureau, so that's why I'll always refer to them. We also make use of them with our own inquiries personally. Yeah. And second point to that is, do you have the repayment ability? So do you have stable income? Do you have disposable cash flow? If those aren't there, then there's no real point in bothering, unfortunately. But you can, if let's say you were unemployed for 5-6 months, a couple of things fell behind, you got a new job, you started working again, you started repaying those things, you started catching them up, have a chat with me. I'm happy to help with the pre-qualification. I can point out where the niggles are, and we can then go about just fixing them. Because once your accounts are up to date and your credit score is sufficient, yes, there will be a couple of blemishes because your late or non-payments show for 24 months. But if your score is sufficient, the banks at least know, okay, well, you've turned that situation around, and they will consider financing.
So that's good advice. You said, so first go to ClearScore and pull a credit report.
Yeah, you'll get it automatically every month. So
give it to you. Do you pay for it?
No, it's free.
That's free, clear score. Okay, I've seen it. I just haven't um, looked at it for myself. So clear score, it's free, guys. Get a credit report, and then you say that a good score would be 621 and above.
That's right.
And if it is that, then you could potentially qualify.
Yeah.
If you have the affordability. Okay. And what are the bank's appetites now? What are they? Are they lending? Are they careful? Are they, especially this times that we've never seen before? How are they feeling?
It's not as amazing as it was 2004 to 2007 prior to the Credit Act, because they just felt like the banks were throwing loans out like Oprah. You get a bond, you get a bond. But they are quite bullish to the market, because remember, the banks make money by lending out money. So they also make use of other people's money, and they need to profit. They need to turn that money. And they also know, as we all do, that the prime lending rate's not going to remain where it is. It's going to go back up. But regardless of what the prime lending rate is, they make their money with the difference between the prime rate and the repo rate with which they borrow their money. And there will always be that margin. So if you get offered a bond at prime now, which is 7%, the bank's repo rate is 3.5%. So that's their cost of money. There's a bit of margin. As prime goes up, the repo rate will go up for prime to go up. So that gap will always remain there. And that makes the difference. That's what allows them to make money, regardless of where the interest rate is.
Oh, good stuff. Zendile says, good day, everyone. Two things there, Christiaan. Maybe if you can explain to someone on here that's going to watch and say, what is the repo rate? What is prime? And what's the difference? What is the repo rate currently at? And then prime, just so they can, just for someone who doesn't understand what that means. And then what was I going to ask you now with that? I think let's just that for now. Yeah, what is the repo rate and what is prime, and what is the repo rate currently? And obviously, we know what prime is, or most people should know what that is.
The repo rate is the rate at which the banks lend their money. So that's their agreement that they need to repay to the Reserve Bank, and their margin then lies with prime rate, and that's why you also find that most of your bonds, the best bond interest rate I've ever seen was prime minus 2.05. And that client was beyond squeaky clean, and he was taking out a 30% bond on a very, very sought after property. But typically you'll find your interest rates being offered at between prime plus 0.5 and prime minus 0.5, dependent on the customer's score and the property score as well, because the banks look at the risk in the property as part of their pricing.
Okay. And the repo rate currently is what?
3.5%.
3.5. And prime is 7.
Yeah.
How long do you think it's going to stay at 7? This is the lowest I've seen it at. Obviously, I'm still young. How long do you think it's going to stay at 7 for? Your predictions?
I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy, but in my view, it should start going up sooner rather than later. Our economy is still a little bit under pressure, but South Africa is dependent on foreign direct investment. And with our prime rate being so low, the interest that foreign investors are getting is quite low if you price in the risk of an emerging economy like South Africa has, especially with where we are with the ratings agencies. So my back of my mind just keeps pulling me to prime of about 12% within the next 5 years.
12% in the next 5 years. So if you are an investor, you should stress test your numbers on maybe 9 and then 12.
I'd say you're safe if you stress test it on 10%, prime plus 3.
Yeah.
And then from there, I mean, you'll have enough time to make a move before it gets to that point. Like for me personally, all of my properties, I signed my debit order at 1.5% higher calculated premium than what the offered rate was. So if I get offered prime, and the last property I bought prime was 10.25, so my installment was signed at 11.75%. Reason for that is I'm paying off a little bit extra capital, but over and above that, that money is then there in my access facility to allow for vacancy or for maintenance. And notwithstanding the fact that as the rate moves, it always moves in a 0.25% increment, I'm prepared for 6 interest rate hikes. As it stands now, quite a couple more interest rate hikes. But the fact of the matter is, it's a nice way to just safeguard your own cash flow, because that's the most important starting point.
So that's good advice. So you're saying the banks are still lending money,
Yes.
And obviously stress test your repayments at about 10% because you believe that it will go up. In the next
It has
5
to.
years, it has to go up. It probably will go back up. Now, if we're speaking to investors and you say, listen, quick question. Tony was on last week. Tony Ninkovic.
Yeah.
Tony said before you buy your primary living home, invest first, rent, and then use that affordability to buy investment properties, maybe rent where you're living, and then build your portfolio like that. What's your view on that?
Well, I fully agree. Because remember, your own property is going to be at a higher standard. It's going to be at a higher cost, and that will immediately lead to a lot of maintenance expenses and so forth. You'll likely, obviously the interest rates now counteracted a little bit, but in a normal market, you'll likely find that you will pay less rent than what your cost of ownership would be should you own that property. And the maintenance is for the landlord's account. The most important thing, however, is to just use that saving towards properties. I mean, if you were, let's say you save 4,500 Rand and you're not an astute investor, you haven't learned how to find the right deals from Leroy, you will likely buy a property that'll have a shortfall of 1,000 Rand. That 4,500 Rand will give you the opportunity to buy 4 investment properties, cover the costs. As the rent goes up, by the time that they're at break even, your house that you're renting will not have grown in as much value, but those properties will have grown in value. And when they start delivering positive cash flow, they can help subsidize your own property. Where if you just buy that property, you might be stuck and you might never have the opportunity to buy additional properties. So it's just a matter of planning your own cash flow and looking at where you want to be. And the calculation for me is simple. Take your gross income before deductions, divide it by 3,500 Rand. I'm primarily focused on entry-level properties personally. And that's the number of paid-off properties you need to replace your salary. Obviously, we won't stop there, but it's a good metric.
Say that again. Take your gross salary
and divide it by 3,500 Rand. So that's looking at net rentals. So if you earn 35,000 Rand, it means you need to pay off 10 properties to replace your salary.
Okay, that's a good one there. So guys, that's good advice. They make notes for that one. Let's see who we have on here. Forgot how to check. That's fine. Okay, here we see we got Veronica, we got Terrence. How's it, Terrence? Tony is on. We got Pearl. Now for investors, Christiaan, what other? Because when I phone, I said, listen, Christiaan, this is what I'm doing. I'm busy with this deal, but I can't go to your 4 banks. What other finance houses or let's say government, because there's a few government places that lend money for investment. There's bridging finance companies, and then there's private finance as well, where you can work with other investors. So what would you say to someone who say, listen, I've got this property, but I don't want to go to your 4 or 5 banks. I want to go to, is there government financing out there? Is there bridging finance out there?
Yeah, so Department of Human Settlements has combined all of their financing houses.
Can I just close this window to hear the garden service?
The sweeping,
okay, Let me just. Okay, good stuff. Sorry for that, man.
That's fine. Yeah, so Department of Human Settlements oversaw a lot of the grants and financing. And they, over the past couple of years, combined all of their different entities into the NHFC. So that's the National Housing Finance Corporation.
Yeah.
And they offer all kinds of financing. Back in the day, it used to just be focused on your gap housing. So just above RDP. One of the developers I worked with secured a 15-year rental stock financing opportunity with them on a low-cost development in Springs, which he then subsequently on-sold with an installment sale agreement. So quite creative, but let's rather focus on what the typical investor works with. So NHFC can offer up to 90% loan to value on rental stock, even on a development bond. And that will typically run at between prime plus 1 and prime plus 1.5 up to a 15-year term. So quite good financing. I've got a guy with whom I deal that can also help with facilitating those applications. And outside of that, you've got some of your boutique financiers like business partners. They're a little bit expensive, but they also fill a gap.
Business partners. I spoke to them, but this was about 5, 6, 7 years ago. I can't remember what.
So they're more expensive than
they finance mostly businesses, eh?
Yeah, well, also property business. But the thing is, their metrics is based on a royalty system as well as an interest rate. So it can make it a little bit more expensive. But they do come in and they also assist. They spend a lot of time with the customer. So there's a lot of guidance and development that comes in there, but all of that's also priced into their offering. And other than that, you've got TUF, the Trust for Urban Housing Finance, and those are the main ones, excluding the normal commercial banks.
So then you're saying you have the NHFC. I've actually submitted a project to them. Yesterday, I finished all the documentation, submitted it to them. Firstly, I submitted it to the GPF. You know, the GPF, the Gauteng Partnership Fund. They're actually nice. They are prime, I think prime or prime -1, -2, depending on I don't actually know depending on what. Probably depending on your experience and your risk. I'm not sure.
Profile.
Yeah, your risk profile. But they'll only fund 40% of a development, greenfield, brownfield, and then you have to get a senior funder. But then they said they work with the NHFC. So they asked me, listen, have you submitted to the NHFC? I said, listen, I've spoken to them. So yesterday I've submitted it to them, the NHFC. So it's in both sides. And the GPF gives you a 2 million rand grant, interest-free as well. So I've started with the process now to submit it to both of them. I'll see how long it takes and how that plays out now, because it's also new to me dealing with them.
Yeah.
But I think what's nice with them is that deals that might not work with TUF, because TUF is plus 3.5, might work with these government. Now tell me something. People are saying, but it's government. You have to be black. White people can't go there. You can't be Indian or whatever, colored or whatever. What is it? Do they deal with anyone, or how does it work with these government financing?
So from a government point of view, there will always be an empowerment element to it. So you'll have to have previously disadvantaged individuals as part of your team, but there's nothing wrong with that. Quite frankly, if I look at the profile of investors and developers that I deal with, it's a no-brainer, and most of them have everything incorporated that way. So don't feel stuck because of the color of your skin. I mean, I can walk in there and they'll say, oh, Mr. Jansen, you're a little bit pale, but then I've got my partners that I can bring in. So nothing is ever non-negotiable. But just look at what the end result is that you're aiming for. And quite frankly, as investors, it is our duty to also bring more investors, more people to the fold, and to empower. Because that's the only way that we're going to eliminate the income gap that we have. Not that it will ever be completely eliminated, because quite frankly, there's people that want to actually work and do stuff, and there's people that just want to sit back and receive. But that transcends all races. That's humanity. I love the Afrikaans collective noun for it because it's the means dom. Because a lot of people are dumb. That's one of those things.
But slow. Cyril, how's it, Cyril? Cyril says, good morning, gentlemen. So, guys, if you have any questions for Christiaan, he's a finance expert, not only with your 4 banks, he works with government institutions. We're going to talk maybe about private finance as well, because when you work with these now, we're talking mostly now for investment purposes, all right? If you want to get a normal bond, Christiaan will help you with that. He'll tell us how to contact him. But the nice part is it's not just a house that you want to live in. If you want to invest in commercial, in, I don't know, industrial, can we go there? Or whatever. Then he'll also be able to help you. But he'll give us his details now. But now let's say, okay, you go to the government or you go to GPF, you are with NHFC or you're working with TUF, and they're saying, listen, I want a 20%, 10% equity amount. What, and you don't have that. Let's say you don't have 5 million, you don't have 500,000 or 1 million or 10 million, you don't have 2 million. What do you suggest people like that do? Because that's what a lot of people say, listen, they will finance me 80%, 90%, but where am I going to find the 10%? I don't have that money.
That's where partnerships come in. You need to find the right person, and there you've got one of 2 options. One, it could be a rich uncle who just has too much cash on hand and doesn't really care about it and wants to see you succeed. That would be the absolute ideal because it'll be the cheapest form of financing you'll ever find. Or the other, and I would strongly suggest it from this point of view, is to get somebody that can partner into the development. Get somebody that can form part of your professional team, that can form part of the whole management and putting all of it together. Because, I mean, there's a couple of things that will come in. So let's say, like, I'm busy putting together a development here in Pretoria, where if I get a guy to put in the 7 million cash that we need and we build the whole thing as rental stock, it will be a bit of a negative experience and interaction if we take too long to occupy the units for with tenants, and we have to service that bond installment of 240,000 rand because I don't have all of it. So I'll have to go back to him and say, listen, dude, I need more, depending on how long it carries on. So if you've got somebody that comes into it with equity or with cash, make sure that it's somebody that you can operate with, that you get along with, and who's also got a little bit more proverbial skin in the game to make sure that it's a proper concerted effort. But also be prepared for the fact that you will be giving up majority shareholding, especially if you're not putting cash into the deal. They will want to protect their shareholding. Or their equity that they put in, and that's generally done by means of shareholding. So important element to that then would just come down to your shareholders agreement, where you can claw back as you go along, define the exit. But yeah, private financiers are definitely a good opportunity. Venture capitalists are very expensive and typically don't really venture into property deals unless it's very short term. And I count bridging finance also as venture capital, because, I mean, they charge R1.57 per thousand per day. So that works out to something like 58 or 59% per annum. So it's expensive.
Yeah, I was speaking to, what's his name? From Second as well. And he's joined the bridging finance, and they're charging about 3.5 to 4% a month.
Yeah,
it's expensive. Almost nothing works on that, eh? That's if you want to get in, you're doing a back-to-back, you want to get in and get out in 2-3 months, maybe it works for that. So
otherwise it's going to kill the deal. And also, just remember, with that type of financing, you're at a lot of risk if you take out too much financing from that financier. So if you've got development finance, for example, at prime plus 2, so at 9%, and you need 20% of the development, and you get that at 3% per month, and it takes a good 6 or 7 months to get to that point, it's going to be expensive money. But on the overall picture, it might still be justified. The deal might still work. So you just need to be very, very careful about your own timelines to get that killed off as quickly as possible.
So you are saying, that's what Andrew says. If the deal works at 4% a month, the deal works at 4% a month. Doesn't matter what even though it's expensive, if the deal still works, the deal works. And what you said before that is that instead of losing a property and saying, okay, listen, I don't have the equity of $1 million or the 10%, 20%, whatever it is, partner with someone, because it's better to get 50% of something than 100% of nothing. Correct. Or even 40% or 30%, right? Make the deal work. That's good advice. Great advice there, Christiaan. And one piece of advice.
Yeah.
Go for it.
See, Cyril was asking about opportunities with and requirements of the land bank. They are, how can I put it? The land bank is a bit of a different animal at the moment. I mean, if you look at your agricultural financing, there's a bit of blood in the streets. So a lot of mismanagement, misappropriation of funds there. So outside of the land bank, you could potentially look at some of the other commercial banks. We can assist with agricultural finance as well. So you're welcome to reach out to me for a bit more information. But it will be based on the projected income. So this type of transaction, like a wine farm or a cattle farm or anything in that line, will come down to a proper commercial financing proposal. So we've got a team that helps with the compilation of all of that, but you will have to prepare yourself for contributing anything between 30 and 40% of the total purchase price of that venture. So it's quite expensive.
So you're saying the land bank is a bit complicated. Do they still have money?
That's the question. We don't know.
It's a good. I met I'm not a friend, but I met him once. We had a couple of years ago, and he was on the board of the land bank. But anyway, we haven't talked about, because obviously I know nothing about farming, so I didn't even think about it or look at it. But yeah, that's interesting. I heard there was a lot of mismanaging with that. But you know what, Christiaan? I spoke to the GPF and NHFC. I said, you guys yesterday, and this was a call I had with them. I said, you guys have money. They said, yes, we've got money. I said, how much money do you have? Tell me how much do you have? Is it $1 billion? Is it $2 billion? They said, no. They said, it's over $1 billion. That this was the NHFC.
Yeah.
I know the GPF also has, I know Tough has a lot of money that they need. They need to eat a lot of, they want to eat go from 4 to 9 billion in the next couple of years. So amazingly, there's so much money out there. Eh?
Yeah.
What are the processes?
The money will always come if the deal is good enough. That's
Say that
the thing.
again.
The money will always come if the deal is good enough. So the most important thing and our biggest responsibility in terms of opportunities is we need to get the right deal packaged at the right price. If the numbers work, the money will follow.
That's great advice, and I think that's also a mindset shift there, Christiaan. That go look for the deal before you look for the money.
Yeah. And you might find deals that won't realize. I've had a couple where, to me, it seemed like a fantastic deal, but unfortunately, there weren't any bites. But you learn out of every single interaction, and it helps you to move faster. So just make sure that you peruse as many deals as possible. I mean, Leroy, think back to your first transaction. How long did that one take you? And how quickly can you now just look at basic high-level numbers like, okay, yeah, this is something I'll investigate.
Yeah, now it's quicker. Yeah, you can. Now, what's the income? What's the purchase price? It's not going to work. Okay, maybe now let's see. The price must come down, or is there a way to up the income? So, but you look at a lot. We look at a lot of deals too, but you don't need many properties to get to. You don't need 100.
That's the thing.
So you look at
initially, you may have, because you couldn't always identify the opportunities, but that comes with time. That comes with practice. Anything. I mean, if you look at the Springbok squad that was on the field on Saturday, they didn't get there because they just woke up a couple of days ago and said, I'm going to play the All Blacks. There's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of exercise that goes into it. And it's exactly the same with property investment. If you don't exercise those muscles, if you don't build that awareness, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. And they'll be staring you straight in the face without you even knowing it.
Yeah. And people get impatient. They say, listen, I've looked at 4 deals and but none of them have come through, so this doesn't work. I'm going to stop with this.
I'm smiling because I'm helping a client now with her second property purchase. The first one was 4 weeks ago. Before that, and it's literally about a month and a half ago, she phoned me and she said, I cannot find good deals. And I asked her, how many deals have you looked at? No, about 45. I'm like, okay, cool. Talk to me again when you've hit 100. You're bound to find a good deal. And she almost got a bit rude with me, saying, no, really? Come on. That's mean to say to me, were her words. And I said, no, but please do me that favor. And then you can say, no, property investment's not for me, because it's not for everybody. Yeah. And lo and behold, she found the first deal. And I got a phone call last week where she's like, okay, the deals are flowing. I don't know what to do now. And she's ended up sourcing on 2 deals and taking on another one. She's busy negotiating another property for herself. It took her 9.5 months, but now it's just running.
No, that persistence. I had TJ on, I think, in the beginning when I just started. And TJ said he looked at about 70 and he didn't get one. And his wife was saying, just leave this. And now he has like 300 flats and 300 student accommodation. I don't know. I stopped counting a while ago, but now he has like huge, and it took him close to 100 properties to, and then he only got a 1-bedroom flat for like 200,000 of that first one.
Hey? Yeah, and look now.
So
you have to crawl before you'll start walking, before you'll start running. That's just the reality of it. And like Cyril says, where he doesn't have uncles in this business, neither did I, neither did Leroy. And I love your approach, saying that in 30 years' time, you'll be that uncle. And it's important, because that's how we will create generational wealth in this country. That's how we are going to make a difference and make sure that more people see or really feel and appreciate the sun shining on their faces than what we have now.
Yeah, no, I think Cyril should get in touch with you. Cyril has a successful logistics company, Christiaan, and
so I'd love to have a chat with him.
Maybe have a chat with him. Yeah, he's Cyril. So Christiaan will share his details in a few minutes, and then get in touch with him. And yeah, I'm not sure about the wine farm or where, but at least you know where you can get finance from and where you can start. I think that'll be.
If there are opportunities, especially with our commercial financing team, I mean, the guy at the head of it was provincial head of Gauteng for F&B, commercial property finance, and been in banking for a good 40 years. So he knows all the right people. So if there's a question, it's very quick to just pop him a WhatsApp and get an opinion, and he'll off the cuff say, yes, this can work, or no, don't even bother. And it's not always fun hearing the no, don't even bother, or conveying that message to a client. I had one now where this client wants to build a small hotel in Belstrip, and there's no chance. We won't get financing, so too bad, so sad, and there we go. She was gutted when I shared that news, but rather that than have her incur additional costs in putting the whole thing together now and then failing.
Yeah. Cyril says he's getting that farm. Yeah, for sure. Go for it, so we can go on holiday.
I want that first case of wine then, if I can get you the financing.
So, okay, so I think the question that I had now, but you answered that. If you are not sure whether you'll get finance, you blacklisted, or you're just not sure about get a credit report at ClearScore, and then you'll be able to see where you are there. So
and reach out to me with questions. I'm happy to guide and advise. I do this business a little bit different to the typical originator, because your normal bond originators deal with estate agents as their primary source of business. So as the agents sell a property, they then refer that purchaser to an originator. I don't do that at all. I deal with the end user directly, and it involves a lot of mentorship here and there and helping them prepare them for financing and getting all of that together. But I love it because I can firsthand see the difference. I can share the excitement, and that's the most fulfilling part of my job. I'm able to help people achieve what they've set out to do.
Yeah, no, that's true, and that's why we work with Christiaan, because he looks at it and he can also creatively problem solve you and say, listen, Leo, you're looking at this. Maybe this won't work here. Let's look at this. Let's look at that. Or it doesn't work. Or you need to because he's an investor himself, and he's been investing for many years. So I think that gives you a bit of an advantage over the other guys as well. So okay, so he says he'll get the details from me. I'll send it to him. Where do we get a hold of you, Christiaan?
Yeah, so you're welcome to pop me an email to christiaan@at360fin.com. So it's christiaan@360fin.com, or on my cell, 082 854 7074. And I am on WhatsApp as well. So
that's cool. So what we'll do is, I think I've got your email and your number. I'll pop it in the comment section for them to get hold of you. But thanks for joining us, man. Thanks. I think we wrapping it up now. Last words of advice for people that are looking for finance or investors. Any last words from you?
So first point of advice when it comes to financing, get yourself pre-qualified. Get an idea of where you're standing, because there's no point in setting out to buy a 1.5 million rand property if you only qualify for $1 million. There's no point in signing an offer to purchase if the banks are going to reject it because of some little niggle on your credit profile. So first and foremost, get yourself pre-qualified to know where you stand. And then from the investment point of view, don't give up. Get out there, feet on the ground, build those relationships. The deals will come eventually. But if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. So just push through. There's quite a lot of people who are proper living testimony for how property investment can change their lives and change your life. So just focus on keeping on.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, get a pre-qualification, because that's easy. You might be looking for 200,000 rand flat, and you might qualify for 800,000. So exactly. Get a pre-qualification and keep on keeping on, eh? Be patient, keep going, build the relationships, join networks like the South African Property Investors Network, right? Surround yourself with the right people. Thanks, Christiaan. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. I think you gave good value there. And that's good stuff there. So I'm going to put your details in the comment section, guys, if you want to contact him, whether it be for commercial or get your own residential house that you want to live in, for only property finance, Christiaan, eh?
Well, on commercial financing, I've recently done a medium-term loan for a client purchasing a second optometry practice. So those also come through. We've got the necessary relationships to go into most types of commercial financing. My forte is property related, but I've got a team behind me.
Awesome stuff, guys. So even if it's businesses, give him a shout and he'll be able to advise you or point you in the right direction. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire. So we had an expert here, Christiaan Jansen, on the finance side. Join us every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Like this, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then we'll see you next week. God bless. Thank you, Christiaan.
Thanks, Leroy.
Okay, I'm going to log off, but don't log off yet. Let me just end the broadcast here. Cheers, guys.